Welcome to class 2. In this class, we'll be talking about the virtual assistant that clients are seeking for currently. In class 1, we talked about who a virtual assistant is, who a virtual assistant is not, the two models of virtual assistants, and types of virtual assistants. So in the types of virtual assistants, we mentioned the social media virtual assistant. So in this class, we're going to be talking about who a social media virtual assistant is, what they do, and how they do it. Alright, and remember that I said social media virtual assistants are actually the virtual assistants that are consistently getting booked in the industry, and that is because currently every business, every brand, every personality, every public person wants to be on social media to express themselves and what they stand for, or to gain visibility. Whichever be the case, a social media virtual assistant is actually needed to help brands, business owners, executives, or individuals to achieve either of these goals on social media. So let's get into it. I hope you are ready. So first of all, who is a social media virtual assistant? Okay, I believe that everyone probably have their own definition of who a social media virtual assistant is. However, for the sake of this class and this program, I want you to hold on to this definition that I'm going to give you. Mind you, every definition we bring to you in this program, we try to break it down in a way that you'll be able to understand and also be able to remember and put in your own words. Okay, so forget about every other sophisticated definition you might have heard anywhere or you have known for as long as possible. As far as this class is concerned, I want you to hold on to the simple definitions that we give you. Remember how we defined who a virtual assistant is. It is simple and it almost looks like, what are you saying? Virtual assistant is a big word. Why are you using just one sentence to define it? I want you to understand that that is what sums up who a virtual assistant is. And the reason why you're giving that definition is so that you're able to remember and also to interpret them in your own language. Okay, so now we're moving on to who a social media virtual assistant is. A social media virtual assistant is the virtual assistant who helps individuals, professionals, executives, business owners, and brands show up on social media consistently and intentionally. All right, I hope you got that. A social media virtual assistant is that virtual assistant that helps anyone, any brand, any business owner, executives, or whoever at all that wants to show up on social media. A social media virtual assistant is the one that helps them show up on social media consistently and intentionally. Consistently having a plan, intentionally being very detailed about it. All right, with that definition, I want you to know that social media virtual assistants are actually in types and categories. There we go again. So we have types of virtual assistants, and then under the types of virtual assistant, we have the social media virtual assistant. And remember that I said in class 1 that social media virtual assistants are currently in demand. Clients are consistently, brands are consistently looking for competent and creative virtual assistants that will help them hold down their visibility on social media. Okay, that will help push their brands, show up for their brands, to present their vision and what they stand for on social media. Brands are always in need of social media virtual assistants. So under social media virtual assistants, I'm telling you that there are different types, different categories. And the first one is the copywriter. A copywriter is a social media virtual assistant. Now, what is copywriting? Copywriting is not a big word. It's not about piracy or about writing books and all of that. No, copywriters are people that are skilled in writing, people that can tell stories with their pen. All right, we say with their pen, not literally the pen you're using writing. Okay, people that can literally curate stories, convincing stories, that can drive sales with their pen. Okay, that is who a copywriter is. So copywriting is the art like art of selling, convincing, telling stories with writing. Copywriters are the ones that are in charge of the captions that you see on social media, the captions that you see brands put up, the captions that you see business owners put up. That same caption that you read that convinces you and makes you want to patronize that brand or makes you want to buy that particular product. Okay, copywriters are the ones in charge of that. Sometimes when you run into sponsored ads, you see a very beautifully written story that at the end of the story is compelling you or redirecting you to buy a particular product or to register for a particular course or to sign up for something. Okay, that is the job of a copywriter. A copywriter is a social media virtual assistant. Okay, and I'm not trying to say that everybody that writes caption on social media is automatically a copywriter or a social media virtual assistant. Remember, there are people that are just on the streets of social media just doing their thing. There are people that are even parading themselves by these titles, but they are actually not competent, which is one of the reasons why you are going through this program, so that you will not be part of those people. Okay, so that when you go out there, you stand out, you be one of the professional and competent ones amongst the crowd. And remember, these are the people that clients are consistently looking for. Clients are consistently looking for people that are not just going by the title that is in their bio, but people that are actually doing the work, people that are competent, people that are skillful, people that are not just talking, but people that are showing workings, like Gen Z will say. All right, so copywriters, they are one of the social media virtual assistants. Now you might be saying that, oh, you want to be a virtual assistant, and when you are asked the type of virtual assistant you want to be, you say email manager, what are those things, customer representative and all of that. I hear that quite a lot, and sometimes I wonder if you actually understand the service you want to render yourself. Do you really understand what it means to be a customer service virtual assistant? Do you really understand what it means to be to do email management or email marketing? All right, or you are just saying it because that's what you heard in the training you went through, or maybe when you did your ALS or any other training that you went through. I'm sure they just did that training for you, bombarded you with lots of videos, gave you that, and then gave you certification at the end of the day. The reason why you're going through internship is so that you can actually be practical with what you're learning. Okay, you don't just learn theory, watch videos, get ebooks, and then you go back to not knowing exactly what you need to do to make you become a professional virtual assistant, to apply those things that you have actually watched in the videos and you have read in the ebooks. Okay, this program is designed to stretch you and to make you put in the work beyond the videos that you have watched and what you have read. All right, so we're still talking about the types of social media virtual assistants, and we have mentioned copywriters. Now, copywriters also can function as email marketers. Okay, some people use email marketing to sell their products. For example, if you open your email, sometimes you will see some messages, promotional messages, either from Jumia or from LinkedIn or from Facebook, sometimes depending on what you subscribe for. All right, so you see them writing long stories for you, permit me to say that, writing long stories in your inbox, and then at the end of the day they're telling you to subscribe to one thing, or maybe telling you that, wow, Jumia has launched one new product like that, or this particular website is going up for something, just giving you promotional information. Okay, that is a job of a copywriter. It's a copywriter that is in charge of writing those captions, those stories that you actually read, that makes you want to invest your money, makes you want to sign up for that course, register for that training, and what have you not. All right, so that's the job of a copywriter. So a copywriter is a social media virtual assistant and can also work as an email marketer. All right, I hope you understand that. Then the next type of social media virtual assistant is the graphics designer. We have the copywriter, we have the graphics designer. The graphics designer is the one that is in charge of designing graphics, just like the name goes. They are the ones that put the brand colors together, the font of the brand, and elements of design, put them in a way that looks very professional and appealing to the eyes. Okay, and then you can merge it with the caption that the copywriter has written, and then you can use it for email marketing, you can use it for social media marketing, you can use it for anything at all. So there are copywriters, there are graphics designers. Then there are content curators. Okay, content curators are the ones that are in charge of developing strategies for brands. There are people that this is their area of specialty. They can give you content strategy for a month or for a period of time. Sometimes if you are launching a book, or you are launching a masterclass, or you're launching a product, content curators can help you break down the type of content that you will need to run ads, the type of content that you will need to reach your target audience on social media. Okay, they will give you a breakdown of the strategy, how it will be done. If you need to record videos, what type of videos? Is it behind the scenes? Is it in time video? Is it a day in the life? Do you understand? Do you need graphics? Do you need to do a photo shoot? What style of photo shoot do you need to do? What kind of caption do you want to do? How many times a day do you need to post? How many times a week do you need to post? That's the job of a content curator. All right, and sometimes we also call them visibility strategists. Okay, so they are literally the ones in charge of how you show up on social media, the tools that you will need to show up, and how you can harness them together. All right, so we've talked about the copywriter, the graphics designer, the content curator, or visibility strategist. Then on the social media virtual assistants, we have the social media managers. Social media managers are the chief cornerstone of social media virtual assistants. Okay, these are the people that are in charge of putting all of these things, all of these aspects of social media virtual assistants together, and then they're in charge of scheduling, posting, data analysis, and all whatnot. Okay, but sometimes social media managers can also serve as graphics designers or copywriters. If you have the skill to write captions, compelling captions, and you are skillful with graphics designing, and you are good with building strategies that convert, and you are a social media manager, that is a plus plus plus. All right, so that is when you can say work from home as a social media manager and earn 6 figures in dollars, and it will make sense because you already have the skills and the competence that clients will need for you to be in value to them and in turn earn financially. Okay, so social media managers are like the icing on the cake of social media virtual assistants. They're the ones that help the brand stay visible. They're the ones that help the brand to put the pieces of their vision and mission together. They're the ones that help the brand to schedule their content. They're the ones that help the brand to build a community, engage with their audience, all right, interact with their audience, express the intent of the brand, express it using the captions that have been written, the graphics design, knowing which one comes first, how to post it, understanding metrics, being able to interpret metrics. Okay, it takes a lot to be a social media manager, and a competent one at that. All right, social media management is not just about posting. You will have to understand scheduling, you will have to understand engagement, you have to understand building a community, you have to understand building an online presence, you have to understand trend research, you have to understand and interpret analytics. All right, so when you make a post, you go to the back end and check what is the conversion rate, how many people saw this post versus how many people engaged. The social media manager is the one that puts all of these pieces together to be able to say that, okay, this brand is not doing well, or did well last month, you need to improve in this area and that area. Okay, so that is who a social media manager is. As a social media virtual assistant, you can actually be a graphics designer, you can be a copywriter, and still be a social media manager. It is very possible. But if you want to specialize, you can specialize as a copywriter. What you do is that you work with other virtual assistants and you write captions for them for a month, or for 2 weeks, or for a week as they request. Okay, so your job is to write captions for your clients. Okay, that is just what you do. All right, so that way you can have multiple clients that you're writing for. You can write for 3 clients in a month, you can write for 4 clients. As a freelancer, you can write for multiple clients. Even as an agency virtual assistant, you can also be assigned to writing caption for multiple clients. Okay, that's as a copywriter. And as a graphics designer, same thing is applicable. You can get gigs to design graphics for maybe multiple brands, or different business owners can reach out to you to design graphics for them, especially Happy New Month flyers. Trust me, there are so many graphics designers that cash out on Happy New Month flyers. You don't want to know. Okay, if you know how much they are charging per design, you understand. So imagine you design for 10 business owners, you design just Happy New Month flyers for them, and you're getting paid with your competence. There is always a client that is ready to pay the amount on your invoice. You can quote me anywhere. So as a social media virtual assistant, you can be a graphics designer as a freelancer, or as an agency virtual assistant. Whichever one you feel like you want to do, you want to delve into, you can actually work for multiple brands, multiple accounts. However, remember that designs and captions and strategies and visibility plans, they differ for different social media platforms. Okay, how you show up on LinkedIn is not the same way you show up on Instagram, and how you show up on Instagram is not the same way you show up on TikTok, and how you show up on TikTok is not the same way you show up on Facebook. All right, so breaking it down, there are still some social media virtual assistants that specialize on a particular social media platform. There are Instagram social media virtual assistants. They specialize in writing captions that will help you make sales on Instagram. They specialize in creating designs, carousels that will make you stop scrolling on Instagram. They specialize in creating content strategy that will make your brand stand out on Instagram. Some people specialize on doing that for LinkedIn. Some people specialize on doing that for Facebook or for TikTok. But whichever social media platform you know that you can manage, make sure that you own it and you show up very intentionally. All right, so you can actually make your choice. You can actually decide that, okay, I want to be a copywriter and I want to write just newsletters. Newsletters are those emails that you receive for promotion. Okay, you can say, okay, I want to be a copywriter that is dedicated to writing compelling newsletters, all right, for brands, for business owners, for course creators, for visionaries, for coaches, even for business owners. Okay, you can make that decision that that's the area you want to concentrate on. Whereas you can also decide to be a graphics designer and you roll out graphics design to other virtual assistants, also to business owners every month or every week. There are business owners that don't have the time to sit down and start using Canva to caption, to curate design for their platforms and all of that. They can reach out to you, of course, with your right positioning on social media. They can reach out to you to design graphics for them in batches. So you can design 2 weeks worth of graphics design that they will be needing for their LinkedIn profile or for their Instagram profile. That way, you'll be making your money as a social media virtual assistant. I hope you've been able to gain value and to understand who a social media virtual assistant is, the types of social media virtual assistants, and the services of the different types of social media virtual assistants. So as a virtual assistant, if you want to become a social media virtual assistant, you will have a lot of options to choose from. Okay, You must not be a social media manager if you are not skilled in that area. You must not be a graphics designer if you are not good in that area. You must not be a copywriter if you are not good in that area. After this class, we'll be having our question and answer session for class 1 and class 2. I want you to come with all of your questions about virtual assistants and about social media virtual assistants, so that we can be able to discuss them and be sure to get detailed answers and guidelines on how to actually show up as a professional virtual assistant after this program. In the comment section, I want you to leave what you learned, what type of social media virtual assistant you would like to be, and why you are choosing that niche. Okay, I want you to write that in the comments. Don't forget to fill your assessment tracker for this class, and don't forget to do your assignment. It is actually very important, and the assignment for this class is very interesting. I look forward to reading your answers and to seeing your comments both under this video and in the classroom. See you in the next class.